Morning. You alright? Hope you're doing well. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, fighting fit, raring for the day ahead. It has just ticked past 8 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Tuesday, the 17th of February in the year of our Lord 2026. I'm joined by my producer, Little Harry. How are you this morning, good sir?
Morning. Yeah, I'm all good.
Great. And you are the glorious band, The Chosen Few. The best of us in the whole world who have decided to tune into The Beau Show, formerly Breakfast with Beau. That's the proper name, the formal name, isn't it? Breakfast with Beau. You can buy one of these beautiful mugs if you want on the Lotus merch store. Some people have. Absolute chads. Colloquially known as The Beau Show, or Beau's Breakfast Club, the BBC, hashtag the real BBC. Or the Lotus Eaters Breakfast Club, LBC. You're watching the real LBC. Alright, what is the world to talk about? With no further ado, enough of that nonsense. We'll have enough of that. We'll have no singing here. Let's jump straight into the news. What is the world talking about today? What does that evil cabal of Fleet Street editors want to try and make you think is important today? All right. Farage forces elections U-turn. That's good. Credit where it's due. I throw tons of shade at Niger reform. Do you think they are a containment project from top to bottom? But sometimes they do good things. If they do and say good things, I'll give them credit for that. You know, if the American Democrats or whatever, if AOC said something good and based and something I agree with, I'd say so. I don't care. And tributes to Godfather star. Oh, Robert Duvall died. Robert Duvall, Oscar winner, brilliant actor, wasn't he? Robert Duvall, brilliant. 95 though he was. It's a fair innings. End of an era though, Robert Duvall. One of my favourite actors. Everyone liked Robert Duvall, didn't they? Anyone not like Gene Hackman and Robert Duvall? No? Right, okay. The iPaper. Farage forces elections U-turn, triggering next threat to Starmer's leadership. So yeah, let me quickly read all the blurb and then we'll go into it in a bit of detail. So it says, Labour abandons plans to postpone May local elections after legal challenge from Reform. Farage hails reversal of plan as a victory for reform and democracy in this country, but refuses to apologise for taxpayer costs as government agrees to pay Reform legal bill. It's about 100 grand as well. Not peanuts, anyway. Labour expected to lose control of 6 councils in May, piling further pressure on Starmer. Local authorities are, quote, experiencing whiplash, quote, from challenging government decisions, making it, quote, almost impossible, end quote, to plan effectively for residents, council leaders say. Cabinet reshuffle likely coming in months as Starmer battles to save his premiership. He might not be here in months. All right, so that's one of the main stories this morning. If you remember, if you watch the news, if you watch Breakfast with Beau, or just the main Lotus Eaters podcast, or if you don't live under a rock in Britain, you will know there's been a story rolling on for weeks and weeks, months and months, that Labour, the Labour government, were planning to just cancel loads of local elections. All the local elections are happening in May. What is it, the 7th of May? And it's a few hundred councils around the country. And at first they were saying, we're just not going to have these elections this year. We're going to do it next year. And at first there was talk that it would be loads of them. Dozens and dozens and dozens, maybe 100 or more. Anyway, it came out that finally the details of their plan, it was going to be 30 councils. Now, even that is loads. If it was one council for a very specific, decent reason, okay. If it was 2 or 3 for very, very good reasons, maybe. Anything beyond that, and if the reasons are shaky at all, it's like, no, there's something deeply suspicious and wrong going on here. Anyway, it's going to be 30 councils, and the reasons that the government, the central government as well, not even the councils themselves, the central government in Westminster was saying, we're going to do this because there's all sorts of boundary changes, all sorts of, I won't bore you with the details, but all sorts of technical reasons why it would be slightly more difficult for them to have these elections. Pardon me. But not good enough reasons. Everyone that was looking on, even lots of councillors themselves, are saying, no, that's not a good enough reason. Because if you don't hold these elections, people can say, legitimately, they can say without exaggeration, you're perverting democracy itself. People need to be able to go to the ballot box and have at least that small amount of say over their own country. It's already a bit of a lip service to democracy, isn't it? Local elections and parliamentary elections. It's not a direct democracy, is it? Like classical Athens, where every citizen gets to vote on anything of importance. Already it's only a representative democracy, and then those representatives rarely do what you actually wanted them to do, what they said they would do. So it's already only like a slither of democracy anyway. And you're going to rob us even of that. You're going to take that away from us even. So there's an uproar. Everyone had criticised it. Obviously, Badenoch, Ed Davey, that Dave Poulden, the Greens guy, and Reform. Everyone was criticising it. But it was only Nige, so credit where credit's due, it was only Nige and Reform that actually were going to take it to court, or were taking it to court. They were going to take the government to court over it. And I believe, I might be wrong about this, but I believe it was going to go to the Supreme Court. It was certainly going to go to some sort of much, much higher court. It wasn't just like a local magistrate in Westminster. It was going to go to a high court. And already Reform had spent, apparently, if you believe the accounts, had already spent something in the order of £100,000 on that process. And it looked like they would win in court. They would defeat the government. And the courts would say, no, government, you, the government, have got to have these elections. The reasons you're putting forward not to are bull plop. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Do it. You've got to do it. So it looks like the government had seen that this was the way it was going to go. They were going to lose. If it went all the way to court and through a trial and a decision, they would lose. So they just backed down. They capitulated. They did a U-turn, another U-turn. Throw it on the pile of Starmer U-turns. So they're going to have these elections, and in fact they're even going to pay, I think, out of the public purse, which is annoying. So, you know, the taxpayers' money, pay Reform back for the $100,000 they spent on this. That bit's a bit annoying. But the main point is that they did a U-turn on something that was, you know, damaging to democracy. For what that's worth. I mean, 30 councils is not nothing. That's quite a lot. It would have been a few million. Different papers are saying different numbers, but something like between 4 and 5 million, maybe, people would have been denied a vote, would have been denied that small amount of say they get over their local authority. A few million people, that's quite a lot, isn't it? So, and the councils, out of 30 of them, I think, I can't remember the exact numbers. It was last night I was looking at it and reading about it, but something like 20 odd, 15 or maybe 20 of those councils were Labour run. 5 or 10 of them were Conservative run, and a smattering of others that there was no clear party ruling that council. So, in other words, it would have benefited Labour most and the Tories second most to not have those elections. Because they're very likely to lose control of the council, if not the control of the council pass entirely over to Reform. I expect Reform will do very well at these local elections. I expect Labour and the Tories, particularly Labour, to get smashed. Absolutely get smashed in them. It may spell the end of Sir Keir's leadership entirely. His own party may well pull the trigger after that point on getting rid of him. Because none of them want to take over, really. And I kind of get it from a cynical point of view. It's not even that cynical, is it? No one wants to take over the leadership of the Labour Party before that. But you're going to take over the party and then immediately get smashed in local elections. Doesn't look good, does it? So you wait for him to take all that muck. He can shoulder that embarrassment. Then you get rid of him. Makes more sense, doesn't it? Okay, let's go on. It's the main story today, by the way. It's not exactly wall-to-wall local election U-turn, but it nearly is. It nearly is, on the front pages anyway. All right, the Financial Times, what have we got? Holiday spirit, China greets Lunar New Year. Don't care. Starmer abandons delay of 30 council elections after Reform legal challenge. Labour acts on advice. See, they were given legal advice. It's like, you will lose. You can let reform take you to court, but at there, you will lose. So you've got to cut your losses now. The only reasonable thing to do, the only prudent thing to do, would be to cut your losses now, back down and do a U-turn. All right. Latest setback for PM. Yep. Farage tells Reid to quit. Rachel Reid, I imagine. It's not going to be John Reid, is it? Is he still alive even? No, that's Rachel Reeves. Who's Reid then? Oh, I don't know. Who cares? Oh, he's the one, isn't he the minister in charge of all that stuff? He's the minister, I believe, would have been in charge of all that. Yeah, like the it's not like the local authorities minister or something like that. Anyway, okay. Local authorities up for grabs. Yeah, there'll be a load of change of councils, won't there? There'll be a load of change of councils. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, hails Orban's role as essential to US and backs him in election fight. Yeah, good. Viktor Orban's like kind of based, isn't he? Basically, or he's not really. I don't know if he's based exactly, but he's not on board with the entire globalist agenda, is he? So yeah, good. The Guardian. Ugh. Guardian. Pack of sickos. All right, there's Robert Duvall in as a much younger man. I mean, he doesn't look 95 there, does he? 95's not a bad innings, is it? As I said. All right, poor old Robert Duvall. Anger as PM abandons plans to delay May elections. Okay. Did you ever see The Godfather? Harry, I know you're very young, but did you ever see those films? Yeah? You have?
Yeah, they're really good.
Okay, cool, yeah. I really like Godfather 1 and 2. Did you like, have you seen Godfather 1, 2 and 3?
Yeah.
What did you think of Godfather Part 3?
It was not as strong as the other two, for sure.
That's a very kind thing to say. That's the kindest possible spin you could put on it. Yeah, it's crap. I think Godfather 1 is among the best films ever. I'm not going out on a limb here. Loads of people say that. I really do think it's great. I think Godfather 2 is superb, possibly better. And Godfather 3 is an abortion. It's terrible. I hate it. I kind of hate it. It ruins the other two in a way. Sofia Coppola's terrible actress. It's really, really annoying. It's annoyingly bad to me. Like somehow, Michael isn't, like, you don't care about Michael. I don't. Like, Anyway. In the book, I love the book as well. I've read the book a couple of times, Mario Puzo. And Duvall's character, Tom Hagen, the Irishman, in the book, he's a much, much bigger character. He's quite a big character in the films, isn't he? Oh, actually, Robert Duvall didn't even bother turning up for Part 3, did he? He's not even in it. He was obviously read the script or something. It was like, no, this looks lame. This looks lame as hell. Like, how does Al Pacino turn in a bad performance in Godfather Part 3? How's that possible? How did Francis Ford Coppola make Al Pacino crap in that film? Anyway, in the original book, Tom Hagen's a massive character. There's this whole backstory about him, about how Vito Corleone picked him up out of nowhere and sort of kind of saved his life, and his friendship going back to childhood with... there's just loads all about Tom Hagen in the book that they don't put in the films. And last time I reread it, which wasn't that long ago, maybe a year ago, 6 months ago, I was daydreaming to myself, if there was ever a spin-off film, just call it Hagen. Have a whole film about the early life of Tom Hagen. Anyway, let's move on to the news. Just a little bit about Duvall there. Okay, the Mail, the Daily Mail, absolute slop, in denial that it's not slop. A full police inquiry into Andrew is the only way to restore trust in the monarchy. Even then. A full police inquiry into King Charles's connection to Jimmy Savile might go some way to restore trust in monarchy. In 14th major U-turn, humiliated PM has to abandon plans to cancel local elections. Starmer forced to face wrath of voters. Yeah. Something about Posh Spice and Cruz now. One of their other sons, Cruz. We're not going to even talk about it. Okay. Starmer's plan to delay elections abandoned. Council vote back on as reform forces U-turn. Right. Claims that Romeo, I don't know how you pronounce it, is it? I think it's Romeo, was bully, were covered up. That's the new cabinet secretary, I believe. A woman already saying that she's a bully. The thing about bullying in high office, or someone that's like a cabinet secretary or something, someone that's the CEO of a company, if it's real bad bullying, like giving people dead arms all the time, giving people noogies, like physically hurting them and stuff, like that sort of bullying, okay. If they're just a super strong character and they shout at people and chew them out verbally all the time, I don't see a problem with that, kind of. If it's to an egregious level, if it's absolutely insane, okay. But if it's not that, then often you would need someone like that, like a bull of a character, to be cabinet secretary or to be the CEO of a big company or whatever. Often people get accused of being a bully, and it's like, are they really a bully, or is it just that they're quite strong, they know their own mind, and they won't take any nonsense from anyone ever, and that you need a character like that to do certain jobs? I don't know. In this case, I really don't know how bad she is, but sometimes you hear people are like bullies, and it's like, are they? Or are the people around them accusing them of being a bully just wussies? I've worked for bosses that most people in the world would call a bully. You just man up, you just get on with it, you just deal with them. You just deal with it, or you meet them head on. Don't let them bully you. I mean, all right. The Tory graph, Starmer U-turn is on cancelled elections. All right. 4 million denied right to vote in attack on democracy. No wonder this council doesn't want you to vote. Labour has weaponised law to thwart democracy. Revolt over cancelled elections. Right, so that's just wall to wall there. There's a story there. Trump attacks Miliband over energy deal with loser Newsom. Yeah, apparently there's been some sort of deal struck between California, just the state of California, and the UK over some sort of deal worth quite a few hundred millions of pounds or dollars, $700 odd million or pounds. For like renewable energy stuff. And I think it will create jobs in Britain. I think that money's largely going from California to the UK. And anyway, Trump says the whole thing's a nonsense and that Newsom's a loser. Well, we'll see in the next presidential election, won't we? I suspect it will be a Newsom ticket. Might be wrong. I suspect the Dems will put up old Gav next time. And he'll probably face, either Vance or Rubio. You would have thought they're the two biggest horses, aren't they? The two biggest beasts in the Republican Party right now. Who knows? Could get someone come out of nowhere. But Rubio and Vance seem to be likely to, don't they, at the moment. Imagine that, let's say Vance. J.D. Vance versus Gavin Newsom. They go to the American public. Who do you want? I actually never used to really like Rubio. I never used to really trust or like Rubio particularly. But since this Trump administration, I like him a lot more. A lot more. If he could act like that as president. Because before this, he always seemed a bit, weak is too strong. He wasn't particularly weak. But he never seemed to stand out and really, But anyway, since he's been under Trump, it's sort of, I think, maybe given him courage. Is that the right word? Given him, steeled him. I feel like he has stepped up to the plate to become a statesman, rather than just some other ambitious senator. I sort of believe him when he says big things. Not everyone can do that. I don't feel like he's particularly LARPing, Rubio. If he was as strong as he is now under Trump as president himself, just completely unapologetic. No, we're doing this, whatever it is. That's what you want in a leader, whether you like the United States or not. If he could do that, I'd probably rather him than Vance, personally. Anyway, imagine if it was Rubio versus Newsom at the next presidential election. Could be. It could well be what we get. Anti-Semitism is rife in UK, says Trump's czar. Oh, really? Just British people are just more anti-Semitic than they used to be, is it? Nothing to do with mass importation of Muslims. No mention of that, but there you go. All right, the Metro. The Metro. Goddamn Metro. All right. My happy place with Pro Green, Professor Green. Is he still around? Is he still trying to be a thing, Professor Green? Get lost, Professor Green. After Metro uncovers AI dark side, PM vow to stop the bots. Classic slop from the Metro. Oh, it's funny. I thought that all these progressive people, like loads of lefties or loads of people, tech bros, and most people, like AI is the new thing. AI is the best thing ever. Now they're saying it's bad. There's a dark side to it, and there's too many bots. To do with online safety, we have to curtail everyone's freedom of expression and freedom of speech, freedom of thought because of bots, because of AI bots. We didn't realise. Whoever's done the front page as well from the Metro, I get the feeling that the people that put together the Metro are like middle-aged or older or boomers or just idiots, don't really know what they're doing. They're talking about AI bots, and they've got pictures from that film, what is it, AI or whatever, iRobot or whatever. And they're not actual robots. Why have you... It's weird. It's like you don't understand what you're talking about. Like, profoundly don't understand. All right. The little line says, online safety worries every parent, says Starmer as he considers social media ban. But plans will be gaffer taping a pothole if big tech won't play ball, warns campaigner. Yeah, it's like there's some terrible TikTok trend or something that you can die in if you're not careful. So we've got to ban freedom of expression for everyone then. We allow a grieving mother. Can we do that? Have we got a grieving mother anywhere? Let's exploit her grief. Yeah. Will her out. Can't have people talking amongst themselves and exchanging ideas freely. Can't have that. Let's find ourselves a grieving mother and exploit her pain. Filth. Absolute filth. Alright, the Daily Star. What have we got here? Tribute to Godfather star. Duvall dies at 95. Yeah. In the book as well. The Mario Puzo book. There's loads about how Vito chooses Tom Hagen to be his consigliere, his sort of right-hand man. And that because he's Irish in it, Tom Hagen, he's not a Sicilian. And that was unheard of, and all the other families sort of see that, and they call the Corleone family, like, what do they call them, like the Irishman or something. They call them like the Irish family or something, I can't remember. And that actually causes loads and loads of problems. A big part in the book, a big element of why the families end up going to war and stuff is because Vito picked Hagen to be his right-hand man. They don't really stress that or even really say it exactly in the films. Anyway, a little bit of Godfather trivia for you there. The book is really great. You can even get it on, I think it's entirely on audiobook on YouTube for free. Listen to it while you're doing other stuff. Okay, The Independent. There Duvall is as Kilgore. Have you ever seen Apocalypse Now, Harry?
No, but I've heard it's good.
It is really good. Yeah. No, you got to see that. See it so that when Martin Sheen dies, we can talk about it. Yeah, there he is, this Kilgore. Smell that! You smell that! You don't get the reference, do you?
No.
There's nothing like the smell of napalm in the morning. The whole stinking hill! No? Okay, I'll move on. It smells like victory. That's my Robert Duvall. That's my Kilgore impression. There you go. That one's for free. Brilliant film, The Apocalypse Now, isn't it? Brilliant film. Okay, another Starmer U-turn as local poll delays abandoned. Nigel Farage forces Labour into retreat over plan to postpone council elections affecting 4.5 million voters as ministers change course, quote, following legal advice, quote, with only 11 weeks to go. Yeah, okay. And it's not long until that by-election. I think that's a week on Thursday. So a week and 2 days out. Not long at all. Vote Nick Buckley, I say. He's the Advance UK candidate. But you Advance and Restore maybe. I think yesterday I said it looked like Ben Habib was definitely going to just roll into Restore. Maybe now, not so much. Over the last 24 hours, Ben seems to have walked that back a little bit. I don't know all the details, but people were talking about how he's playing touch hardball with Rupert. Well, I don't know about all of that. Anyway, why not vote Nick Buckley? He's a friend of this channel. If you live there, of course. Definitely would be nice if Labour didn't win, just to screw with Starmer. No one's voting Tory. No one's voting Tory in Manchester or anywhere really. Who wants the Tories? Tories are defunct and defeat. Greens, let's not let the Greens win. Come on. The Greens are disgusting. They're more commie than Labour, aren't they? They're more commie than the Workers' Socialist Party. They're arch insane commies and Islamophiles. The Green Party. So don't vote Green Party. So really, it's out of Reform and Advance. And Matt Goodwin, don't trust Matt Goodwin as far as I could throw him. Don't trust him as far as I could throw him. I don't trust you, Matt. We see you. Yeah, we see you. It's kind of obvious what you're doing. Who you are. It's kind of obvious, Matt. Alright, the Daily Express. PM secretly plotting to lock us back into the EU. Yeah, there's loads of details of various things Starmer's doing. He wants to... apparently he's making a deal. He is making a deal in the process of with van der Leyen and the EU to have much closer ties on, defence, some sort of shared defence policy, and some other things. I think energy. Yeah, it was energy was the big thing as well, that we're like locked into their energy policy. And it's done on some sort of sliding scale depending on how big our economy is compared to theirs. We pay them loads of money, billions and billions of pounds. And we're locked into an energy policy that may not be, almost certainly won't be, ideal for us. Why are you doing that, Sir Queer? Why are you doing that, bro? Why? Who asked for that? Didn't we have a referendum about all this? Crazy. Everything he does is not in the national interest, isn't it? Kind of everything. Mad. He will go down in history as one of the worst PMs of all time. All right, The Mirror. Exclusive social media plea. Save our next generation. There you go. There's the poor grieving mother. In this instance, have decided to trot out to get you to agree with having your own freedom of speech and expression curtailed. The Sun, after Fury... Oh, yeah, this is one of the Sun. Look at this. This is their front page. Line of Duty H-bomb, villain ID twist. So there's this program, for anyone who doesn't know, anyone who doesn't particularly watch TV or anyone who isn't from Britain, there's a show called Line of Duty. Just a show, a fictional scripted drama show on TV. These are the characters in it. There you go. And the whole front page of the Sun today is about something like the new series starts. The last series ended on a cliffhanger, and now the new series has started, and there's going to be some sort of reveal who the arch baddie is in it. That's the front page of the news of the Sun. The front page. Some TV show. It's quite popular, I understand. I've never watched a single moment of it. I've got no intention of. It looks completely bland. I've got no intention of watching a second of it. And even though it's reasonably popular, it's not insanely popular. It's not like a whole cultural phenomenon or anything. But there you go. That's the front page. There's a new series of Line of Duty starting. That's important, according to the editor of The Sun. Mental. They're mental. All right, that's the front pages. Let's have a wee look at our poll. What did we ask today, Harry? What did we pose today? We said, should Britain have closer ties with the EU? There you go. All right, and so a resounding win again, in line with my thoughts and feelings. 83% of you say no. I mean, you're the glorious band in the chosen few. I can rely on you guys. You're my people. I can rely on you guys. We're simpatico. 83% of you say no. Good, which is the correct answer. 10% said not sure, which is always fair enough, I think. If you don't really know enough about things, it's fair enough to say, isn't it? But a dirty 7% of you say yes. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on the ass in the way out. No, don't go. No, don't go. Stay. Don't go. I still love you. We can make it work. There you go, though. 84%. Boom. That's a win. If it was a referendum on something, you'd claim for all time that you've got a mandate of heaven on that one, wouldn't you? All right, let's move on. Okay. Let's have a look at the normal websites. Where's my mouse? Okay, there it is. All right. BBC, Clinton. Oh, this is rich. This is rich. Hillary Clinton accuses Trump administration of Epstein files cover-up in BBC interview. Okay, a little bit. But when you look into the details, what she's coming out with is the most insane... You know, that classic thing of you accuse your enemies of the things you do. She's just done a 180 on everything. Like, she's accusing them of getting... You've got to get the files out. They're slow-walking it. What was the other thing she said? She said, like, that sunlight is the best disinfectant. Yeah, right. She said everyone should testify. Sorry, Hillary, wasn't it you and Bill just like 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago that were subpoenaed to testify and you refused, and it was only when you were being threatened with further prosecution that you relented? Now you've 180'd on that and pretending it's always been your position. And she says things in that interview that are quoted saying, we've always been on record of saying everything should come out and sunlight is the best disinfectant and everyone that's involved should testify, and it's the Trump administration that have done all the wrong things about all of this. Even though under the Biden and Obama years and things, they didn't do anything with the Epstein stuff. I mean, talk about lying. Talk about... Oh, they're just the worst, aren't they, the Clintons? Hillary Clinton. Gross. Oh, do you remember that time just before when she thought she was going to beat Trump? She tweeted, it was her own birthday, and she tweeted a picture of herself as a child saying, happy birthday to this future president. Because all the polls in 2016... all the polls were saying she would win. I remember it clearly. Very, very clearly. I was already in my mid-30s or whatever. But yeah, all the polls were saying she's going to win and it will almost certainly be a landslide. She will be the next president. Like, right up to the day before the election, before the vote. Absolutely everyone thought she would be president. And obviously she did as well. Gross. It's the worst. Just the absolute worst type of human. Just look at it. Look at that. You want that to be the ruler of the... It's like this sort of an insane Karen. You can sort of see the insanity in her eyes. Am I overstating this? You can sort of see the watery boomer insanity, the entitlement, sort of mad Karen. All right. Talk about all sorts of things. Look, I think everyone should testify who is asked to testify. You were asked to testify and you did everything in your power not to. They came that close to sending the US Marshals around, putting you in handcuffs and forcing you to testify. Oh, but now you're saying you think everyone should testify. These people. Shameless. Absolutely shameless. We will show up, but we think it would be better to have it in public. Really? Really? I just want it to be fair. I want everyone treated the same way. That's what you're saying now. Okay. We have nothing to hide. We have called for the full release of these files repeatedly, have you? We think sunlight is the best disinfectant. The most that's being very kind, disingenuous. Mrs. Clinton is being extremely disingenuous. All right. What else have we got? Facing a demographic catastrophe, Ukraine is paying for troops to freeze their sperm. Yeah, it's a lot of the menfolk in Ukraine are being killed to the point where it will change their demographic. How many deaths are enough, Zelensky? How many? You're gonna wipe out all the fighting age men of Ukraine, and then still lose anyway. The New York Times. There's an article there. Oh no, it's in the Russian one, where Trump's saying Zelensky needs to come to the table ASAP. We're waiting on Zelensky. I mean, how many men you're gonna butcher all your fighting age men? Is that what you're gonna do? Like people have said, pro-Ukraine people. They said, well, what if it was your country though? Like, how would you come to the table if, say, Kent or Cornwall had been invaded by France? Let's say, just making this up, but be invaded by France, and you'd had how long before you just gave that up and just conceded it, came to the peace table and accepted that you'd lost that bit of land? Well, if so many Englishmen if we'd done the battlefield thing for a few years, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is, if we'd done that for years and we were losing so many men that it was ruining our demographic for all time, then I would be talking about and advocate for coming to the peace table and letting France keep Cornwall or Kent. Then, if that was the case. Right, a portion of the country isn't worth all the fighting age men in it. Is it? I don't think so. Well, go on then, the Slava-Ukraini, then the pro-Ukraine people, then great. There'll hardly be any Ukrainian men left in the world then. Well done. Brilliant. All right, let's have a look. Was there anything on ITV News? Was there a couple of stories worth talking about? Look, there's Newsom and Ed Miliband. Two men that are basically retarded, as far as I'm concerned. Basically retarded men. They're spending hundreds of millions of pounds on nonsense. Oh, here's a story. At a Tay-Tay concert, a Taylor Swift concert in Austria, some Muslim man was going to try and blow it up and kill loads of people. Like Ariana Grande style. They don't like music. There you go. An Austrian man, a 21-year-old Austrian man, has been charged with terrorism offences and is accused of planning to carry out an attack at a Taylor Swift gig in Vienna. The unnamed defendant had declared allegiance to the Islamic State group by sharing propaganda material. He's just a man. He's just a 21-year-old Austrian man. Yeah, again, they don't like music. Like in ISIS, you can't have music. No music. That's haram. Like dancing. Dancing's definitely haram. A woman without her head covered, bare arms, singing and dancing. That's satanic. That's monstrous. You can't have that. Best try and blow it up. But any fans that like that, they really deserve death, don't they? Blow it up. That's their thinking. That's what happened with the Ariana Grande thing. It's all terribly haram and un-Islamic. Ariana Grande and her fans, or Tay-Tay and her fans. Look, she's happy and singing and dancing and comfortable in her own skin. Can't have that. Just an Austrian man. Just a 21-year-old Austrian man. That's what we're up against, you know. Choose to ignore it if you want. Bury your head in the sand if you want about all of that. Or wake up and understand that this is the sort of threat we're dealing with. We've got millions of these people that think like that or have ideas and a worldview that's quite similar to that, adjacent to that. You've allowed millions of them into our countries. Can pretend that's not the case, right? It can be Politics Joe or something. It can be The Guardian or whatever, and pretend it isn't a massive, massive ongoing threat. Pretend someone like me noticing it and talking about it is just a crazy bigot. Just a crazy racist. Although Islam isn't a race, is it? It's a religion. Or you can face up to the truth. Reality. There are lots of people like this 21-year-old Austrian man that would want something as simple as a music concert to be destroyed. Can't have music and fun and women that aren't covered up. Can't have singing. Alright. Sky News. Young boys who don't know their fathers, they're lost. Are they part of the problem? Far be it from me to give any sort of answer to that. Oh, but also, completely unrelated, loads of young people arrested for stealing mobile phones. There you go. Hundreds arrested for phone theft in London as Met Police calls on courts to stop releasing offenders. Yeah, mobile phone theft, particularly in London, is gigantic, isn't it? Danny Dyer there, Mockney, with his extremely exaggerated Cockney accent. He's not that Cockney, by the way. Danny Dyer, you having a bubble bath, ain't you? He's exaggerating. He's pretending there he cares about how pure water is, the water supply. I tested our water supply. Did you, Danny? Did you? It was fascinating, was it? Was it? You're fascinated by it, yeah. Yeah, all right. People actually from Essex and East London all know that Danny Dyer is a Mockney. All right, let's have a look. What else have we got? The Mail. Yeah, this is a one-off story, but it's in the news a bit today. This guy here, some teenagers, 15 and 16-year-olds, thought he was a paedophile. I'm not sure whether he is or not. I read the article, I read a couple of articles about it. They never confirm whether he was or not. They definitely don't say he was. So I can only sort of assume he wasn't. This guy was like in his 40s, late 40s, 49. They thought he was a paedophile, so they beat him to death. Or they threw rocks at him. I don't know if they actually deliberately meant to murder him, but they did kill him. I mean, they were convicted of manslaughter. They threw rocks at him and some obviously hit him in the head and he died. And when the police arrested the teenager sort of at the scene, they said we thought we did the right thing because he was a pedo, and the police aren't going to do anything about it. So we did the right thing, if anything. They didn't know he was dead at that point. Anyway, he did die. Terrible, crazy story. Ridiculous story. All right, what is there? Oh, William and Kate never really liked Beatrice and Eugenie, apparently. They're Andrew's daughters. And obviously, that's King Charles's son and his wife. So they're cousins. These two are his cousin. And he never really liked him anyway, particularly, so he's not going to struggle to sort of cut them out. They're disgraced by proxy because of Andrew. All right. Pure slop, something about millionaire influencers. Pure slop, won't even look at that. Don't care about that. Fergie, look, she's like, ugh. There's that thing like the picture of Dorian Gray, where you're so evil. Well, it's not actually, it's the opposite, isn't it, in Dorian Gray? All the evilness gets put onto a portrait that's kept in the attic and you look youthful forever. But normal people, well, you're so evil for so many years that you actually start looking evil. Like Chomsky or something. Like Sarah Ferguson, like Fergie. Yeah, the evil's really starting to show through now. Really starting to show through. Right. Oh yeah, there's Trump. Trump makes scathing swipe against Ed Miliband's climate pact with the US. Yeah, he just said it's like foolish and stupid and all of that. All right, let's have a look. The Sun, there's pure slop today. An individual case of someone that was abused as a child. Ant out of Ant and Dec, his dog has died. Oh, look. What a good boy. But yeah, his dog died. Big news. That paedophile that some kids beat to death. A really big sinkhole. Really big sinkhole that hasn't been fixed for a year. Important stuff, isn't it? Really important stuff. The luge track at the Winter Olympics is too hard. It's a bit concrete, hurting the back of some of the athletes. It's a bit hard. There you go. Someone individual person got hit by a car. Oh, boom. Oh. He didn't die though. They don't show you it if he died. He's essentially all right. But the person was on the phone on their car, so don't drive around on your phone because you might hit someone. Another fight in the street. You know, important stuff from the Sun. There you go. All right, let's jump across the pond. Let's jump across the old pond to the New York Slimes. US and Iran gear up for nuclear talks amid rising tensions. Yeah, I think the Iranians have got a few weeks. They got 3 weeks before the USS Gerald R. Ford, the second carrier group, steams across the Atlantic, round the Cape, round the bottom of Africa, into the Arabian Sea. That will take about 4 weeks, roughly. And once the US have got the Abraham Lincoln and the Gerald Ford there, a whole contingency, an extra carrier group for contingency, then they can start doing what they want, really, in the skies above Persia. And Trump has said that to like the Iranians. You've got 4 weeks. We're going to give you 4 weeks, and then if you haven't sort of made a deal with us, if you haven't capitulated to what we want you to do, basically, then, you know, stuff's probably going to start happening. So, in Iran, slain protesters' memorials will test state crackdown. All right. Ukraine and Russia hold peace talks, but expectations are low now. It looked like they were going to start coming to the table, didn't it, about a week ago? Both sides sort of making noises that they were prepared to make a deal. But whether it's Zelensky this time or not, because over the last year or so, it's mainly been Putin. Like Zelensky saying, I'm ready to talk, let's talk. And it's Putin going, no, I don't want to, I don't need to. And now it's flipped again, whereas the Russians want a deal and Zelensky seems to be dragging his feet. I mean, all right, well, there you go. Let's have a look at the Washington Post. Popular anger burns in Iran after crackdown as Trump turns up pressure as the Trump administration heads into nuclear talks with Tehran after a government crackdown killed thousands. Widespread outrage has not abated, Iranians say. Mitch McConnell is the loser in the race to replace him in the Senate. So yeah, Mitch McConnell is... Oh, look, he's so vacant. He almost looks like a cartoon tortoise. He's so vacant. He's lost his marbles, hasn't he? He's lost his marbles. You see, a few months ago, he was talking to the press and just sort of mid-sentence just sort of goes all vacant, like forgets what he's talking about. So yeah, he's going to be replaced because he's suffering from senility. I don't know. Is there something wrong, isn't there? Shan't shed a tear for Mitch McConnell, though. Never liked the man. Never, ever liked him. Us versus them, the battle that... Okay, it's not important. It's something about an individual town somewhere in Virginia. All right, the Aussies, the taxpayer will have to pay for poorly planned renewable energy infrastructure, of course, because it costs an absolute arm and a leg and never really works properly. So get used to that, everyone in the West, whose governments insist on doing this, insist on ruining the energy sector and economy of your country for boondoggles. A bunch of ISIS brides want to come back from Syria into Australia. Of course they do. Alright, wasn't that much in Japan, other than, look, this rarest of Pokemon cards sold at auction for $16.5 million. It's not yen, dollars. $16.5 million for one Pokemon card. It's not peanuts, is it? All right, the Chinese, same as always. The Russians, here we go. There was the story there. Yeah, look, Ukraine better come to the table fast, says Trump. Like, we're waiting on you guys now, really, to come to terms with the fact you've lost a lot of territory in the Donbass, despite a clearly corrupt plebiscite. Most of the people there do want to be Russian, it seems. Yeah. The Germans. Someone the other day accused me of, don't talk about Ukraine. You don't know anything about Ukrainian history. Nonsense. I've got long-form content about Ukrainian history, going back to the 7th century, on the epochs of the Lotus Eaters. So I do know a fair bit about Ukrainian history. Let's talk about let's talk about the 9th century in Ukraine, what became Ukraine. Let's talk about that. I can talk about that for hours, could you? Let's talk about the Kievan Rus. Let's do a couple of hours about the Kievan Rus. You want to talk about Soviet-era Ukraine? I can talk about that. I've read all of the Gulag Archipelago. There's loads and loads of details about the relationship between White Russia and the Ukrainians in that. Talk about that for hours, could you? No, I know a fair bit about Ukrainian history. Thanks. These people. They often say that. If they don't agree with you, it's like, you just don't know anything about it. Really? Like, don't talk about art history. Don't have an opinion about art because you know nothing about it. Well, what if you do, though? What if you do? Okay, in Build, in the... same as always, just talking about car crashes and the weather a fair bit in Build. Oh look, even Build go with that Pokemon card thing. Big news. Don't worry about the destruction of your country and things, your demographic replacement and impending potential civil war. Here's a Pokemon card, a story about Pokemon. The French, who are France's second homeowners, don't care. Okay, the space news... There wasn't a great deal of space news. China still testing and launching things. All right, should we just move on to On This Day in History? Because I like that. You guys like that. Let's do that. All right, what happened on this day, the 17th of February, in history? In the year 1568, The Treaty of Adrianople, representatives of the Holy Roman Emperor Maximilian II and Ottoman Sultan Selim II agreed to a peace plan ending the war between the Habsburg monarchy and the Ottoman Empire. Maximilian agrees to provide a cash, quote, present, quote, and ruling authority is granted to the Ottomans in Transylvania, Moldavia and Wallachia. So yeah, this is a fair bit, long time after Vlad the Impaler. Got content all about Vlad the Impaler. This is, you could argue, around the time of the high watermark of the Ottoman Empire's encroachment into Europe. So it's in and around these generations where the Ottoman scourge gets quite far into Eastern Europe, southern Eastern Europe. I mean, Transylvania, that's like modern, and Moldavia, and Wallachia, that's modern Romania, Hungary, Bulgaria, that whole region, right? You know, they've taken all of Greece. It's way up in the Balkans and beyond. So yeah, sort of worrying times. A lot of Western Europe are start finally to become genuinely concerned about the Sultan in Constantinople. Sorry, Istanbul. All right, in 1865, Union forces led by William Tecumseh Sherman captured the state capital of Columbia, South Carolina, the city of Columbia in South Carolina. The city is ablaze by nightfall, fanned by high winds devastating much of the city. It is not known which side set the fires. That's one of those things. Fascinated by the Civil War, made all sorts of content about the Civil War. Long form bit of content with Benjamin Boyce, all about Ulysses S. Grant and William Tecumseh Sherman, his march to the sea. 60 miles in latitude, 300 to the main. Yeah, he had an army corps, 60 miles wide, that marched straight through Georgia, smashed and burnt Atlanta, razed Atlanta, Georgia, marched all the way to the Main, the sea, marching through the Carolinas, making his roads while he went through the swamps of Carolina, all the way to Columbia, burnt that down. Now, most people think Sherman himself and the Union forces burnt down, razed, destroyed Atlanta and Columbia. Well, Atlanta certainly. It was more the case, really, that the Confederate forces, as they left, burnt it down because they thought it was like a tactical to prevent the Union forces from getting what was there. But the Union forces already had all their own materiel and food and everything they needed. As it says there, it's not known which side started the fires. It might have been the retreating Confederate forces. Anyone from the South would say that's nonsense. William Tecumseh Sherman was a monster and a butcher, and it must have been him. It must have been the evil Yankees that did it. Well, I mean, read the accounts in detail, and didn't do terrible things in that march to the sea. They certainly did things that would be considered atrocities these days, but it's not as black and white as you might think. It's not as straightforward as the Union. Everything that evil was done was the Union. That the Confederates didn't deliberately try and leave a scorched earth policy. Right, that's a thing, isn't it? If you're retreating, don't leave a single pig for the advancing forces. You do a scorched earth policy on your own country, right? It's not inconceivable, is it? All right, on this day, the 17th of February in 1786, sardines were first canned by Julius Wolfe in Eastport, Maine. Oh, that's important, isn't it? That's what a weird bit of trivia and knowledge that is. In 1972, the British Parliament votes to join the European Economic Community. Yeah, terrible, stupid idea. Yeah, always a bad idea. All right, let's go to, because we're very near the top of the hour, let's have a look at the Rumble Rants and the Super Chat. We've got one Rumble Rant from Johnny Logo who says, a full Epstein list is out. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that was yesterday they released that, but if there's an even fuller one, great. Good. Where Hillary Clinton said it as in a disingenuous way, I mean it I mean it sincerely, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Let's get it all out in the open. If anyone needs to be prosecuted, do it. All right, on YouTube, the super chats. A Global Church History says, aim high, vote low. But then he ruins it. You ruin it, mate. He says, aim high, vote low, crown Lammy. Oh, can't agree with the last sentiment. Can't go with you on that one. Aim high and vote low, yes. Crown Lammy. Okay. Thanks for the super chat anyway. Dylan Lindsay 6794 says, Beau, are you going to join Restore and run for MP? Well, I'm already a member of Restore. I was like the straight away. Run for an MP? Well, that's a conversation that will need to be had. If they want me, I'll do it. Loads of people have asked me this on Twitter, loads of different times, and I've always said the same thing. I've said it also on the State of Politics. My channel with Nate off Mr. H Reviews. State of Politics. I said it on there and tweeted it out a couple of times. If they want me, I'll do it. I can totally understand they might not want me. I'm a little bit toxic. I've said loads of super spicy things, right? Loads. On Twitter, all over the place. I might be a bit too toxic for them. If not, if they want me, I'll do it, sure. I'll do it. But if they don't, I don't mind. It's not my life's ambition to become an MP. I would like to do it. I would be interested in doing it. But it's not my whole raison d'etre. It's not my reason for being. I can never be complete as a man unless I'm a member of Parliament. I'm not one of those people. That's my childhood dream. But if they want me, I'll do it. I mean, it is like a ball ache, like badly. The process of running is extremely difficult and extremely tiring. And then being an MP is also very, very stressful and tiring. And you might get Charlie Kirk. You might get David Amist. It's a genuine worry, isn't it? Nonetheless, despite all of that, if they want me, I'll do it. Or I'll give it a whirl. Probably wouldn't win with the best will in the world. Anyway, I would have thought I'd run in Swindon South. And the incumbent is the Transport Secretary. With a half-decent majority behind her. Heidi Alexander. A disgusting fat woman. See, they might not want me because I say stuff like that. She's got a half-decent majority. So, probably wouldn't win anyway. But, yeah, if they want me, I'll do it. Put it that way. All right. Krish281 says, isn't bullying code for actually asking the civil servant to do their job? Right, yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, dear civil servant, actually do your job. Oh, you're bullying me. Oh, I'm being bullied. Don't ask me to actually turn up to the office and do my job. Yeah, fair point. Mr. Gently Benevolent says, worked for bosses who are bullies. Yeah, a lot of people have. Yeah. Be honest, Beau, is Cole gone bullying you? Do you want us to speak to his dad? Now, Cole is, I must say, you might think this is just under duress, and I've got to say it. I don't at all. Carl is a great boss. He's a great boss. He's very hands-on. He doesn't micromanage. And he's a friend. He's just a friend who happens to sign off on paychecks. Yeah, he's a great boss. Okay. Lapcode 92. Just a few bucks to keep this bromance going. Soldier on, lads. Cheers. Cheers for the few bucks. The bromance. Me and my audience. Luke Stewart 6155 says, "G'day, I hope you're doing okay. Dumb question. I thought Rubio said he would back Vance." Okay, well, fair enough. If you said that, I'd either forgotten that or didn't see it at the time. If he just has already said that. It's a bit early to say that, isn't it? But anyway, if you said that, you might go back on it. If the polling says he could be the Prez, he might go back on that. But okay. Dumb question. I thought Rubio said he would back Vance. A lot of people think it will be a Vance and Rubio ticket. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, that's totally, yeah. So Vance as Prez, Rubio as Vice Prez. Yeah, a Vance Rubio ticket. Yeah, I mean, quite possibly. And then maybe even after that, Rubio gets a shot. It's not always the case, but very often, isn't it, that the vice president, they're the crown prince, they're the president in waiting. Absolutely not always the case, but often. Yeah. Okay. What else have we got? Quite a few more. Got a few more here. Principled Uncertainty said, "I'd rather be unalived by General Secretary Polanski in 2002 after a noble try than Farage win and sell out the UK for clout." Okay. I'd rather be unalived by General Secretary Polanski. I guess you're missing a digit there in 2028, 2029. After a noble try, then Farage win and sell out the UK for clout. Okay, I mean, I sort of see what you mean. Yeah, I sort of see what you're saying. Yeah. All the reform people are like, you can't possibly split the vote. The vote isn't being split. There's one party that's for mass remigration and all the others that aren't. So no vote is being split on that count. They're saying you can't possibly vote for anyone other than reform because you'll just end up with Labour. Not necessarily. Doesn't really make any real sense. I'm not interested in that argument anymore. That's what kept the Tories in power for 14 years. No, I'm going to vote with what I want, actually. I'm going to vote with what I want. Screw you. Screw Nigel. Screw Tice. Zia Youssef. Matt Goodwin. Ugh, all of them. Get away from me. Alright, Fortean Barber says, sweet haircut, Beau, and the beard looks tidy AF. Can we look into that one? Harry? Harry? Are you there? Alright, yeah, that one. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's good of you to say. Okay, and the last one, Global Church History again says, today in 1776, I'm constantly rereading The Decline and Fall by Edward Gibbon. I've got more than one copy. Nearly always got one by my bed. And as soon as I finish reading it, more or less, give it maybe a few months, I'll go around and start reading it again. Got it on audiobook, listen to it on audiobook. I'm sort of obsessed with Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. It's great. I honestly think it's one of the greatest pieces of literature ever. Non-fiction. It's superb. Give it a read. Once you get your ear in, it's quite antiquated. I mean, it's late 18th century, so it's not easy to read. But once you get used to it, you know, like Shakespeare. At first, it's sort of difficult to get into, but once you get used to it. Brilliant. I advise anyone to listen to it on audiobook or read it. So thanks for that, Global Church History. Brilliant, good to know. All right, that is the show. It's now ticked 8 minutes past 9 in the AM, Greenwich Mean Time, on Tuesday the 17th of February in the year of our Lord 2026. You have been the glorious band, the chosen few. Thank you for tuning in. Really, sincerely thank you. Without you, it's not a thing. Is it? It's not a thing. You make it. It is you guys. Try and make the best of the day ahead. You've only got it once. It's later than you think in life. You've only got this day once ever. Once it's gone, it's gone. Try and seize it by the scruff of the neck. Seize it by the lapels. Make it count. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Okay, until tomorrow morning. Take care.